And our other producer, Hutch Parker, I've worked with for a number of years as well.
And then we have a whole bunch of people. You want me to do this? Since I have the
I'm going to let Jeff do the rest because I'm going to forget somebody.
How many people do you think we got? Let's welcome to the stage Omar C. Omar? Come on out.
Omar?
Ladies and gentlemen, how about Ellen Page? Sean Ashmore? Anna Paquin? Halle Berry? Ian McKellen? Patrick Stewart? Hugh Jackman? James McAvoy? Michael Fassbender? Jennifer Lawrence? Nicholas Hoult? Peter Dinklage? Evan Peters? Ladies and gentlemen, the X-Men.
Really Quicksilver, yeah. Really fast, and he's a bit of a spaz.
He's a bit of a spaz. Good to know. Peter, how are you, sir?
I am well. My name is Peter Dinklage, and I play Bolivar Trask.
It's phenomenal, too. I was realizing we have all these different franchises represented. I mean, we have Game of Thrones and Hunger Games, and, it just goes on and on. True Blood and Star Trek. It's an amazing panel. This is pretty impressive. You've been here before. Have you ever seen anything like this?
I'm having flashbacks to yesterday.
Nicholas, for you, what's it like to be part of this cast?
It's amazing. Even sitting here, it's scary, but thank you all for coming.
Jennifer, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hello.
For your character, I mean, just a chance to find out more about her. I mean, she's one of the bigger mysteries, really. Her relationships and the way that she fits in. It must be kind of exciting for you to return and find out where her story is going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's definitely taken on to, she's starting to find her journey into the Rebecca Romaine, kind of the later mystique that we know, but is also kind of still very close to Charles. And, well, they haven't seen each other for a long time, so not close geographically. But, yeah, this is kind of her journey into becoming who she's going to be.
Sure. Mr. Fassbender, how are you, sir? He was hiding behind the podium watching the footage.
That's where I found this, which I'm happy.
What the hell is that thing?
I don't know, but we're becoming friends. It's great to be back here. It's fantastic to see so many sort of, film enthusiasts, comic book enthusiasts, crazy people. It's nice to be amongst them. So very excited to be back.
Fantastic. And James, how are you? It's good to see you.
I'm really good. I can't be in a room with this many people without saying, how you doing, Comic-Con? Yeah! I'm really sorry I couldn't hear you. How you doing, Comic-Con? It's great. This is the very first time I've ever been here. I was in the halls this morning. That's where I got my cool t-shirt. And it is amazing the passion you guys have. So it's awesome to be amongst you.
Yes.
And Mr. Singer, when you, as the director of this film, you were pulling together a lot of disparate things. You have two different sets of X-Men. You have a very large cast. Obviously, they're not all in the same place at one time, but is that an invigorating challenge, or is that something you have to overcome?
It's a scheduling nightmare. It's a logistical nightmare, but no, it's great. I actually like ensemble films. I started with Usual Suspects, which is an ensemble film. I enjoy working with there's a lot of interesting people to cut to when you're making an ensemble film, and so I think the more the merrier. But I think the blend of these two casts is extremely unique, and it's just a thrill for me because I was involved as a producer with X-Men First Class and story writer, but not as a director, so it's an opportunity to work with this incredible group of people who I've been enormous fans of for years, and to return with this family of people who I'm right at home with, so it came quite easy.
Oh man, this is an embarrassment of riches. I mean, look, to work with the people who were in the very first film I ever did, that's incredible alone. And then to work with this new lot, this is two great movies in one. If I just got to do one of these movies in my life, I'll be happy. The fact I'm with everybody here, this is something I'll never forget.
Patrick, earlier today you were telling me a little bit about the esprit de corps of the Starfleet crew that you were part of. Compare this ensemble and the energy and the togetherness of it.
We've heard the word blessing several times today, and to experience a job as an actor with a great group of people whom you not only respect and admire, but love to once in a career is enviable. But in my case, to have had that experience twice in a career feels quite extraordinary.
That's lovely.
You know, what I've always loved about Storm is that, well, something I love about her and something I hate about her. I'm gonna tell you what I love first. What I love about Storm is that she's like the Earth Mother of the group. And I think that's part of my own personality that resonates and what attracted me to Storm in the beginning. She's usually the calm, cool voice of reason. Besides being a badass when she needs to be, she's kind of the mom of the group. What I hate about Storm is that she never gets any love. Like, what's up with Storm?
I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
You guys probably know, wait a minute, you guys probably know more about the comic book than me, probably. Is she like asexual and nobody's told me?
No, Black Panther.
Because I really don't understand.
She marries Black Panther.
Why Storm can't get any love. But I love, when I got called to come back and play Storm again, it didn't take me but a half a second to say, send me that wig, give me that costume, I'm in. I love being a part of this franchise, and I love all the people that are sitting up here, the ones I've known for 13 years and the new friends that I've just made. I couldn't think of a better way to spend time working on a movie with this great group of people, and I'm so glad Bryan Singer is back.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Bryan Singer is back.
You've had such a great career journey, with True Blood and all that fantastic success. And does that make it even better to go back to a character that predated that for you?
Sorry, this is a huge hall with lots of people. You know, it's amazing. Obviously a lot's happened in the last 13 years of probably all of our lives, but it's incredibly exciting to get to come back. This was I got cast in this movie when I was 17. So it's really, really, really amazing to be back and have people. I'm so happy.
So what's up with the Iceman?
Bobby's back. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I can say almost the same thing as everybody else. 4 films, Ann and I were teenagers. We get to come back every 4 or 5 years, and as you grow as a person, as you grow as an actor, you get to return to this amazing franchise with amazing people. So it's amazing to be back with old friends. Great to meet new ones, and I think there's going to be some really cool stuff that people don't expect to see, or they've been possibly waiting to see from a lot of these characters. So.
Sure.
Absolutely, and when I did the first one, I had never been on a set remotely to that size or scale, so it sort of blew my mind, and was joining a group of people who were already close, but they could not have been more lovely and welcoming and so sweet. And then never did I expect to be back playing Kitty Pryde again, and just couldn't be more excited.
Great. For the producers down there, I can't see you guys. I'm sorry. What would you each say is the most important thing that this film had to accomplish, either in story or theme or execution or casting?
Well, I grew up, I think like most of you, reading the comics, and so being loyal to the original stories was the most important thing to us. And like you said, this is an embarrassment of riches of actors, so the same way it's surreal and cool for you to see all these guys up here, I think it's surreal and cool for us too, on set every day. So it's really about the original books and the original stories, and just trying to honor those the best we can.
And it's only because the comics were written so well that we were able to spin these stories. But I got to say that starting with the first one and getting to this one, for me personally, to see this cast mixed together with Bryan Singer, I almost want to cry. I'm so happy.
Yeah, and I think for all of us, probably the most amazing opportunity it offers is, in 25 years of making movies, for me personally, I've never seen a better cast assembled in anything at any time. And it's matched by a story, thanks to Simon and the underlining comic book, that I think is worthy of the cast, and under Bryan's stewardship. So it's an amazing opportunity for all of us. We're very grateful and excited to share it with you.
So my question is, if you could pick up to be another X-Men, who would you choose and why?
If you could do what? Pick up?
Do another X-Men film besides this?
No, I think if we could pick another character to be. Well, the good thing about my character is I can do that to anybody.
In terms of preparation, no different. Wolverine is Wolverine, and every movie in a way is an ensemble. But okay, let's be honest. Look at this panel. Look at what I'm turning up to work every day. Not only being able to work in the future part of the movie, but also working in the past with an ensemble I'd never get to work with the man who gave me the job that has defined my career. So it is not every day I'm grateful, and I thank my lucky stars. It's a special one.
Terrific. Bryan, it's fascinating that Quicksilver, as we all know, is like popping up in different places. I don't know what you can say about that. Is there anything? Is it?
Yeah, well, Quicksilver was always a part of the story as we were developing it. The casting took a while to find the right actor for this role. Evan, I'm a huge fan of Evan's, and so making that work was really fantastic. I grew up as a kid in the 70s, and I had forgotten how hideous some of the clothing was back then. Now these guys, sorry, but these guys.
Yes. I look incredible in this film. I just want that out there.
They make it look quite good. Yeah. Peter Dinklage looks like my father in this.
It's all about the Dinklage hair.
That handsome?
Wow. Oh, and by the way, yeah, it's not a wig. It's like his real hair.
That's his
Everyone
hair.
thinks he is asking him in the car, how's the wig? That's it. That's real. It just can comb like that.
Oh, yeah. I got a sweet Tom Selleck mustache sporting too, so. Ladies.
Hugh Jackman, you star in both musicals and big budget films. What unique characteristics do you bring to each of the different mediums?
The groove.
Groove, yes, groove. Well, I can tell you there won't be any singing as Wolverine. I can tell you that right now. No. Really? You really want Wolverine the musical? I'm gonna slice 'em. I'm gonna dice 'em.
And without further ado, we have the cast of X-Men Days of Future. Cast. We have Simon Kinberg, the writer. We have Omar Sy. We have Ellen Page, Sean Ashmore, Halle Berry, Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, director Bryan Singer, Hugh Jackman, James McAvoy. There he is, James McAvoy. Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Nicholas Hoult, Peter Dinklage, Evan Peters, and producers Lauren Schuler-Donner and Hutch Parker.
Basically, the notion is Hugh of the future, or Wolverine of the future, is sent into his consciousness is sent into his younger self, and it's nice because Hugh is able to play both parts because the character of Wolverine is ageless, which is extremely unique, and it was great to be able to place him in both these worlds as a character, and for me to reunite with this original cast and to get to work as a director with the new cast.
I wanted to ask the original trilogy actors, what's it feel like to return to these characters after so long?
Well, these things have a strange life because you start out and it could just be a movie and that's it, and hello and goodbye. But then it develops its own life force. No, the best part about this movie has been for me knowing that at an earlier time in my life I was James McAvoy.
Thank you for saying that, Patrick. And if I have to grow up into being somebody, how cool is it to grow up to be Sir Patrick Stewart, star of stage and screen? So it's a big kick getting to work with Patrick. I got to be in the same room as Ian and Hugh and Ellen and everybody, and Sean and stuff, but I actually got to act with Patrick. And I've been a fan of his for years, so it was a real kick. But just dramatically getting to kind of, the whole idea behind First Class, kind of rejigging, rebooting, but also showing who we were when we were younger. I never thought for a second I'd actually get to work with Patrick, so that was just quite interesting to show the two opposite sides of these people at different times in their lives and their personal adventure,
I'm looking forward one day to being as dashing and successful as Michael Fassbender. And we can't really believe our luck, can we? That we're still allowed out. And also playing a character over 2, 3, is it this 4 films we've been in now? Or is it 4 films I've made with you, Brian? I'm never quite sure, but... Both, okay. It's fun to go back to the character and realise that he's still lurking inside you. But these stories are so need to be told. That's what I like about the X-Men. These aren't casual movies. These aren't summer vacation movies. They're classics. And to be allowed to be associated with them is a genuine honour, and it doesn't matter how little I have to do in the next one, Brian. I'll be ready and waiting.
Yeah, me too.
And I think it's nice. I mean, we can, we all love the films, but what's nice for me is that in the first movie, we all became such good friends, and we really like each other, and we like being around each other. So to have a chance to do the work that we love, but to hang out with the people that we really admire, respect, and like to be around, for me, is the joy of coming back to do these movies. And the beauty is, because we are good friends, we pick up as if we just saw each other yesterday. And I was really happy to see everybody and meet the new cast, but hang out with my old friends that I really love a lot.
Jennifer, you have any comment?
It's really the same as what everyone was saying. It's we became so close on First Class, and I had, after I got the movie, I went and watched all of them, and I'm a recent but huge fan. And I never thought that I would even be able to meet some of the original cast. So it's really great.
I built the old hallways from the X-Men 1, 2, and 3. This is the fourth time we built these old blue hallways. And they're kind of iconic a little bit in the X-Men films now. So when you guys, it was really fun when they walked on the set because they'd been in an X-Men movie, but not with those hallways or with Hugh as Wolverine.
Yeah, there really wasn't a lot of familiar stuff.
Yeah, and you were standing in the hallway and we were looking at one of your costumes and then you were like, "Can I see Cerebro?" I was like, "Sure, I'll show you Cerebro."
That's not a euphemism, by the way.
Yeah.
She was
What
already
is it?
cast at this point.
How about you, Ellen? You have 2 cents to add on your experience working, Ellen? Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what's funny is I was just in the third one, and it was 18. It feels like a while ago, and I just done really a movie called Hard Candy, and was on the set, and had never been involved with anything of remotely that scale, and just felt so welcomed by such obviously not just an incredibly talented group of people, but just like the loveliest, sweetest people who were so kind, and never did I think I'd be back playing Kitty Pryde again. So I was just so thrilled to be back with everyone and exploring something new and something very different, and just had a great time every day working with everybody.
Okay, how about one more? Nicholas, you have any thoughts to add about the experience of working with the old cast and cast?
Yeah, no, it was what Bryan was saying. When we walked into those old corridors, and for the first time we were doing a scene, I looked over during a take and looked over and saw Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and I sat there and I panicked and I was like, freaked out a little bit, because those were films that I grew up watching. So it was fascinating because, yeah, the first class film didn't, even though it was an X-Men movie, it didn't feel like the X-Men movies that I knew. So it's very exciting and nice to be back with everyone and to have some new friends.
Yes, there's some of that.
Okay.
Whenever you're going back in time, and this is every bit as much a time travel movie as it is an X-Men movie, there is those risks. And yet there are certain, so some of that's going to happen, and yet there are some things that, if you believe in certain physics and multiverses and in things like that, and then you also have a respect for the continuity as we have it. And mine is I'm less so entrapped in those previous films. Again, I'm not the audience, I'm just the filmmaker. But I do believe in certain continuity that will maintain, but some things will change. Okay. It's the nature of time travel. You go back and mess about, things happen. So that's something that some of those rumors are probably somewhat true.
I was just wondering, James, you just alluded to it. Will there be much acting with the younger versions of the characters in the same scene as the older versions? Because if so, that would be good.
That would be well good.
Will there be interaction? Primarily, since Wolverine is the journeyman, his interaction with the younger cast is primary. There is a moment, which you'll see a beat of in this reel I'm going to show, where these two characters come face to face with the younger self, older self. And we try to do it in a unique way. It's been done before, but my first opportunity to make a time travel movie, really, really wanted to do my very best to create a set of rules and respect them and stay within the continuity of those rules. But there's a bit of interaction like that.
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but Hugh, besides Wolverine, who is your favorite character on X-Men besides yours?
Come on, mate, man up. Don't be afraid. No pressure.
Yeah, there's no pressure here. Listen, it's a very difficult thing to storm. It's a very, very difficult thing to say. Who is my favorite? But it's also a hard storm to kind of separate an actor from a part storm. So my general rule is do as many storm movies with Halle Berry as possible. Is that all right to say? We're both married, and it's listen, going back to the first question, I know that was a facetious question, I presume, but going back to the very first question, I'm in a perhaps unique position on this panel because the very first film I did in America was given to me by this man, and the film was X-Men 1. That was 14 years ago, pretty much got cast. It's almost impossible to believe. Like, I think everyone on this side of Bryan feels how incredibly unique, rare, lucky, and blessed we are to be able to, 14 years later, come back together. I mean, we all knew each other. You guys knew me before I had kids. My son was born just as we were making first one. I mean, so much has changed. We've gone through together. And if you were lucky enough in your life to be in a film with just these actors, you would count yourself about as lucky as can be as an actor. If you look to the right of Bryan, you see an unbelievable... Yeah. The whole...
Reads all that. Just,
I was like, what's he going to say?
Then you realise this is what you get paid for, to work with them, right? No. In honest truth, this movie is two great movies in one. I can't believe the embarrassment of riches that I have, that I get to work with all of them here. And so the truth of the matter is you will never get me to say who my favourite is. Storm.
Yes.
I think I speak for the room when I say this is breathtaking to see you all on the stage here. So can you talk a little bit more about the first reaction you had when you even heard of this project? Did you think this is insane? Did you think this is impossible? Did you think this is about time this happens? Because this is not your regular sequel. This is more than just one sequel.
It's an in-betweequel. It's really an in-betweequel.
Well, it's in the spirit of the comics, isn't it? I mean, the comics go forward and back. They change the history, and you're never quite sure where you are. They change the look of the characters. I mean, and the movies are in that the mayhem of the X-Men world. But running through it all, of course, is this very important story, a very important message. It's about our lives, however fantastic the characters are.
I heard about this movie, and I was immediately filled with such sadness because most of you probably won't recall, but at the end of 3, I was vaporized by Jean Grey. And that really hurt, by the way. It was, you know, I hope it never has to happen to any of you. And so my assumption was, well, you know, there's going to be Ian and Halle and Hugh and everybody back, but it won't be me. But something happened, which I'm not allowed to talk about. Am I? Oh, you can if you want to.
No, we just characters come back to life in comic. I just have to whenever I do something, I can't just do it flippantly. I have to at least believe I have to believe that in the idea, the conceit. So in my own mind, I understand how Xavier is alive from X-Men 3. There's a beat at the end of X-Men 3 after the credits when his consciousness is sort of inside of this woman in a hospital, and then you take that, you mix it with some powerful mutants. Some mutants can do a lot of cool stuff. So you can imagine anything's possible.
So does that mean that Xavier is back, Bryan?
For the moment.
That should be the tagline for the film. X-Men. Xavier is back. For the moment. Just your face like a machine gun.
Catch it.
But this is science fiction, and a moment can be anything you want it to be.
Yeah, just well, you know.
We're digging a deep hole here, guys.
But in seriousness to that, another thing about this movie that's different from the previous X-Men films is there's a science fiction aspect to it as well. There's technologies. There's the Sentinel program, which is something that's going to be part of the picture. So you've got the time travel and the science fiction elements are things that haven't been as explored in X-Men films in the past. So that also made it a challenge and fun and unique.
We have time for about one more question.
All right, I wanted to ask you guys about the costumes this time around. How you felt in them? There's a lot of 70s gear. You're back in your Storm outfit while pregnant. You're basically naked this whole time. After wearing the costume in the last one, now you're full blue.
She's pregnant, I'm naked.
Sounds like
Come
a
see
great
the
movie.
movie. It's great. Yeah, it's we all really love. I mean, well, I can't speak for everybody, but I personally love the 70s. The moments that I do get to wear the 70s clothes, I really enjoy them because I like that time and I like wearing clothes when I can. And then the Mystique stuff. Some of the look is a little bit different, but we're still using same paint.
Jen wanted to make sure that this Mystique was a less innocent, evolved, getting closer to where Mystique was in X-Men 2.
Well, she's also more comfortable. I mean, she, when we left the movie, she was mutant and proud. In the first, she was kind of struggling with that problem that a lot of normal human people struggle with being insecure about how they look. So she was very covered up in the first movie, but this time she is mutant and proud.
My threads are awesome. To answer that, lots of flares, chunky shoes, psychedelic shirts. There's a lot of brown jackets going on. But with very violently coloured psychedelia-inspired shirts underneath. You're going to love it.
There's some very cool, again, just hit me if I'm saying anything I shouldn't, but in the future, the X-Men suits are really, I'm just pausing in case I'm going too far, are unbelievable. First of all, hell of a lot more comfortable to wear than X-Men 1 and 2, but they look really amazing. And people in the future wear suits who've never worn suits before, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Louise is pretty amazing, isn't she? She's and it's a very collaborative thing. That's the one thing that I've sort of found on the project as a whole, not just sort of, through sort of the clothes that we wear, the sort of Magneto sort of outfit, being on set.
Do you get to wear the helmet?
Oh yes.
Because the best thing about playing the older Magneto this time, no helmet.
You don't like the helmet?
Oh no.
When you have a face like that, who needs a helmet?
We'll talk about helmets later, shall we?